Welcome to RC Tech. This is Ritesh Srinivasan. In this video, let us look at deep learning applications in the cardiology domain. This is the first part of the series where I focus on ECG or electrocardiograms. If you are new here and if you like such content, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Now let us look at what is an artificial neural network. An artificial neural network is inspired from neurons present in the human brain. Every neuron gets input from other neuron via dendrites. These are electric signals. Then the neuron does some computation on these electric signals and fires it output via the axon. A neuron in the artificial network mimics the same functionality as the neurons present in the human brain. So you have the input layer of neurons where the input is given. Then we have layers of neurons and finally the output layer. In this way, the algorithm tries to mimic the connections of neurons in the human brain. Let us look at what is deep learning. Deep learning pertains to use of deep neural networks. Now, what is deep neural network? A deep neural network is nothing but an artificial neural network with multiple layers between the input and output. So you have many hidden layers. So this deep neural network actually learns the correct mathematical manipulation to turn the input into a specific output. Now this relation could be linear or it could be non-linear, and there could be multiple layers, and each of these layers need not be homogeneous neurons. There could be different neurons present over here, different types of neurons present over here. So of late, a lot of machine learning algorithms are implemented using deep learning. This is because of the improvement in hardware as well as the results which are obtained via deep learning seems to be much more promising when compared to traditional machine learning models. Cardiology is a branch of medicine that deals with disorders of the heart as well as some parts of the circulatory system. This field includes medical diagnosis and treatment of congenital heart defects, coronary artery disease, heart failure, valvular heart disease, and electrophysiology. Let us look at what is an ECG. Electrocardiography is the process of producing an ECG or an electrocardiogram. It is a graph of voltage versus time of the electrical activity of the heart measured using electrodes placed on the skin. Now these electrodes can detect small electrical changes which are a consequence of the cardiac muscle depolarization followed by repolarization during each cardiac cycle, that is the heartbeat. Now changes in the normal ECG pattern could occur due to various cardiac abnormalities which could include cardiac rhythm disturbances such as atrial fibrillation and ventricular tachycardia, or it could be because of inadequate coronary artery blood flow such as myocardial ischemia and myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction is another word for heart attack, and or it could be because of electrolyte disturbances which could be hypokalemia and hyperkalemia. If you want more details on what is an ECG or the electrocardiography, you can look at this Wikipedia link. Let us look at how ECG wave looks like. So if you see over here in the ECG wave, there are three main components. One is the P wave, then you have this QRS complex, and then you have the T wave. Now these corresponds to different functionalities of the heart. For example, the P wave represents the depolarization of the atria or the atrial chambers. The QRS complex, which represents the depolarization of the ventricles, and finally the T wave represents the repolarization of the ventricles. Now depending upon how your heartbeat is, you have these different waveforms showing up in the ECG. So if you have normal heartbeat, you have this regular waveform. If you have fast heartbeat, in the same time span you see that there are more heartbeats over here. If you have a slow heartbeat, you have less heartbeats over here. If you have irregular, it is neither slow nor fast. Let us look at the importance of ECG. ECG is a common and painless test used to quickly detect heart problems and monitor your heart's health. It is often done in a doctor's office, a clinic, or a hospital room. ECG devices are standard equipment and they are present in operating rooms and ambulances. Nowadays, you have personal devices such as smartwatches, which also offer ECG monitoring. There are other devices like Holter ECG monitoring device, which can be used in a home setting to continuously monitor ECG. Now the whole idea is that if you can do early detection of heart diseases via analysis of ECG, this can save people's life as well as enable steps to ease the treatment. So that is why analysis of ECG is very important. Let us look at the need for automatic analysis of ECG data. So if automatic analysis of ECG data is present, we can incorporate this into automatic defibrillators so that autonomous decision can be reached whether there is a cause for administering the electrical shock on the basis of an atrial or ventricular arrhythmia for reviving a subject. Portable ECG is used in telemedicine. These machines are used to send ECG recordings via a telecommunication link such as telephone, cellular data communication, or internet. So in telemedicine, we can do automatic analysis of ECG data and then it can be verified by a doctor. The conventional ECG machines can be used in primary healthcare settings where there is a trained cardiologist is not available. So in such cases, automatic analysis can provide the initial diagnosis, which can be then referred to a cardiologist at a tertiary care center for further analysis. I have looked at this particular survey paper, opportunities and challenges of deep learning methods for electrocardiogram data, a systematic review for explaining about the applications of deep learning in cardiology, specifically with respect to electrocardiogram or ECG data. So I put the link of this paper here as well. You can look into this paper for any further details. Traditionally, automatic ECG analysis has relied on the diagnostic rules. As shown in this figure over here, there is this expert who tells the engineer what is the useful features in the ECG which needs to be captured, and then these features are fed into a machine learning model to create rules or machine learning methods to generate the final results. Now these expert features can be categorized into statistical features such as heart rate variability. It could be something like frequency domain features, and it could also be time domain features, right? Now with the advent of deep learning, what happens is that the expert features are not required. The deep learning neural networks are themselves capable of identifying what are these features, and then they try to produce the results. So therefore, with the advent of deep learning, the machine learning models are not limited by the data quality and human expert knowledge. The goal of developing a deep learning model for disease detection is to map the input ECG data to output disease targets. For example, for detecting cardiac arrhythmias, deep learning models have been developed, and it is one of the most common tasks for deep learning models based on ECG signals. Convolution neural networks have been developed to automate the detection of myocardial infarction and congestive heart failure. There are also deep learning models which have been developed for detecting atrial fibrillation. The localization and annotation of specific waves in ECG signals is of great importance to cardiologists who are attempting to diagnose cardiac diseases such as arterial fibrillation. So in this context, autoencoders and RNNs or recurrent neural networks have been used to locate the exit of the ventricular tachycardia in 12-lead ECG data automatically. Some studies have focused on localizing of the origins of premature ventricular issues and myocardial infarction. Some studies have applied deep learning methods to ECG to annotate the QRS complex, especially in the fetal QRS complex, which is very critical for identifying various arrhythmias. So various deep learning models have been used like autoencoders and recurrent neural networks to actually annotate the ECG signals. Understanding sleep pattern is critical for improving healthcare because sleep is a very key aspect of our well-being. Sleep disorders can lead to catastrophes in personal health or public health. So automated sleep stage classification can be done using heart rate variability analysis of in ECG data. So people have used sparse encoders and hidden Markov models to combine them to detect obstructive sleep apnea on the PhysioNet challenge dataset. Convolution neural network also has been used to detect obstructive sleep apnea. LSTM was also used to detect obstructive sleep apnea. Biometric based human identification is a promising technology for automatic and accurate individual recognition based on various body sensor data, which could include heart rate, temperature, and activity. So convolution neural networks have been developed which can identify individuals based on their ECG data. Additionally, residual networks also have been employed to develop ECG based biometric authentication methods. A bidirectional gated recurrent unit or GRU based methods was also proposed for human identification based on ECG data. So the fundamental assumption here is that the ECG pattern is unique to a person. The ECG signal acquisition process is often accompanied by a large amount of noise. So this negatively affects the accuracy of diagnosis. This is particularly evident in the telemedicine environment. So in research papers I have proposed encoder-decoder based convolution neural network for denoising. Similarly, generative adversarial networks have also been proposed for denoising of ECG signals. As explained earlier, the data on which we need to perform these tasks like disease detection or annotation or sleep staging or biometric human identification or denoising of ECG data comes from various sources, like it could be personal healthcare devices like your Apple Watch or AliveCor ECG patch, or it could be an ECG patch, right, from which you get this raw ECG data. It could be from the ECG machines, or it could be from Holter monitors, or it could be from ECG devices in various settings like clinics. It could be telemedicine setups. It could be operation theaters. So the data can come from different places, and now there is a lot of data which keeps getting generated. As explained earlier, various deep learning architectures have been used for various tasks on ECG data. So convolution neural networks have been used on ECG data. Combination of convolution neural networks and recurrent neural networks have been used. Recurrent neural networks have been used by themselves. You have LSTMs which have been used for ECG data analysis, autoencoders, fully connected neural networks, generational adversarial neural networks have also been used for various tasks. Similarly, neural networks in combination with expert features, basically an ensemble model, has also been used for various tasks. Now let us look at the various data set that have been mentioned in this particular survey paper. So you here have the databases. You have the number of records in these databases. You also have whether how many leads were used for capturing the ECG signal, or how many electrodes were used for capturing the ECG signal. You also have the duration of the ECG signals. You also have what kind of annotation is present in this database, like whether it is beat level, rhythm level. If it is at rhythm level, what kind of subclasses? For example, over here you have myocardial infarction, you have heart failure, and so on. Right? Then what is the source of this data set? Where was this data captured from? Then the year then also the papers which are referring to these particular data sets. If you look at the data sets, most of the data sets are small except for the PhysioNet Computing in Cardiology Challenge 2017. Similarly, the 2018 China Physiological Signal Challenge. So these data sets have quite large number of samples, but the other data sets are quite small. So there is a dearth of data sets for ECG analysis. In summary, I have given an idea of the various applications of deep learning for ECG in the cardiology space. So you can refer to the survey paper. I will put a link to the survey paper in the description. If you like such content, please like and share the video. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you get notified as and when I create a new video. See you in the next video. Bye for now.